I don't understand about green chili in the country we live in. Why can't you get a fucking green chili cheeseburger all over the fucking country, man?
Thank you for listening to Serves You Right. My name is Andrew Roy, and today I get a chance to talk to Joseph Wrede. Chef Joe, the man behind Joseph's Culinary Pub in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Me and Chef Joe actually got a chance to work together when I lived in Santa Fe, and I've been a fan of his food for a long time. I did not realize his beginning. So he did not start in a Michelin star place. Instead, he got a little fixer-upper in Taos for a couple $1,000, and he bought that spot at a time when he, by his own admission, did not even know how to cook. So great overview of his journey. We get to talk about all sorts of things like what it means to be a chef, what exactly it means to do, a balance of fat, salt, sugar. I had a fantastic time catching up with Chef Joe. So without any further ado, this is Chef Joe, and thank you for listening to Serves You Right.
Honestly, probably less expensive than buying dog food, because for a dog of Zeus's size, like
Holy
150
shit.
pounds, yeah,
Whoa.
it'd been a lot. Yeah, but we didn't come to talk about my dog, right?
Yeah.
Man, Chef Joseph Wrede, Joseph Culinary Pub, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, right on. It's good. Thanks.
I thought I would start because I've known a little bit about this, but I don't think I ever got the full story of your time in Taos when you had Joseph's table.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can you tell us the story of how that started and kind of what that was all about?
Yeah. That started in 95. Just my parents. I complained to my mother. I was working as a kind of line cook in Denver at the time. Moved from New York City, where I went to trade school, basically, a trade program called Peter Kumps, which then blossomed into an Institute of Culinary Education, not to be confused with the CIA. This is the ICE.
Not that ICE, yeah.
Yeah.
In this day and age, be careful there, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so I moved from that program and living in New York with the woman I was in love with at the time, who was in the pastry program, and her and I moved to Denver. And from Denver, I was working for some chefs, and it was a little bit of a fucking cockfight, you know what I mean? Honestly, for me.
Literally too many chefs in the kitchen. Yeah.
Literally too many fucking cocks in the fucking rooster. And so I I complained to my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh, you should talk to this friend of ours who has a building in Taos. Maybe they can convert it into a restaurant, and she'll partner up with you or something." My mom just kind of thinking about it. So, of course, I jumped in my car with Gina, and we drove down to Taos to check it out. And, on a 2 days off on a weekend or whatever, on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And
the industry weekend, yeah.
Yeah, or something like that. And the building that the friend of my mother's owned was right next to a church, it turned out. So we were like, wow, it's cool. It's right in Seco. As you kind of go to the ski valley, there's a cool town right below the ski valley between Taos and the ski valley. And this building kind of had almost like a Western theme to it. It wasn't exactly my dream architecture, because I was kind of looking for European kind of ideas of cooking and all that jazz, French and Italian and all that. But I wasn't really sure what the fuck I was doing, honestly. But the building turned to be right next to the church there as you turn the corner and then up to the valley. And you couldn't serve alcohol next to a church. And we learned that quickly. Somebody pointed that out within minutes and said, you're not going to put a restaurant there. Just shut up and get out of here. I unfortunately picked up the newspaper and went to the Taos Inn. The Taos Inn is a they say it's like the living room of Taos. And
Mm.
it really is, if you're kind of a port of entry, really great, right in the center of it all. And picked up the newspaper and read about another restaurant, a Chinese restaurant in the town right next to Taos. And I mean, right next to it, there's a bunch of little towns. The one, as you come up from Santa Fe, is called Ranchos. And it was for $20,000. And I was like, holy shit, a restaurant for $20,000? I bet I could figure out how to get $20,000, which I
That's
actually didn't really know how to get. So we did own 2 cars. So we sold one of those, and then we had 10, I think. So then we were like halfway there. So I
you got
called the
skin in the
guy.
game, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I called the guy. His restaurant's, what the fuck was it? Ming's. Ming's. I called Ming and said, "Hey, I'll give you $10,000. We're in Taos. Can we check out the restaurant?" Figured we could sell one of our cars for $10,000. So I just gambled and said, "Hey, we're in Taos. We're going to leave tomorrow. We'd love to see the restaurant before we leave." And so we went and checked it out, and it was in bad shape, man. It was in really bad shape, including things like there was mouse droppings on the walk and everything. It was really in disarray. So,
It was worth
and
$20,000.
right, and
Yeah.
then you realize as you go into like this is NPR. You're cleaning the kitchen and you're like listening to NPR news. The virus has killed 5 people outside of Mora, inhaling mouse poops, and you're like, holy shit, man! I just bought a restaurant for $20,000 or 10,000 or whatever. We had a long and interesting negotiation. I think it was like 12,000, and people are, and so you're in the middle of Taos, thinking you're kind of like can do it and be a chef and run a restaurant with your. And Gina stayed in Denver and worked as a pastry chef, so we had some income. And I just repaired the equipment and cleaned it all. And my mother is an artist, and she showed up and painted the restaurant. And we went to work and finally got a liquor. We found that spot outside Ranchos, as I said, kind of going boom, bang, all that jazz. And it was only serving breakfast because we couldn't afford the liquor license. But we just enthusiastically served breakfast for about a year and then decided we got to get out. We'd work all day long for $300, man, in there at 5 in the morning, baking, trying to figure it out. And honestly, man, I just did not know how to cook. I could follow the chef's orders as a line position, the grill, the saute, and I had all these fantastic ideas, and especially in 1995, in the culinary scene in the country, you could just, like ego it out if you wanted, and make up all kinds of whacked out shit. And so we started on this journey. Gina, on the other hand, had her bachelor's, was an extremely disciplined thinker, was extremely smart, not dyslexic, not, just disciplined. And so the pastries were insane. So they were amazing. She did the pastries, I did the rest of the work. And so, all the misfits and gambles and mistakes I was making was just kind of wiped away when they got the dessert, because it has structure, it has balance, and it has bliss point. So she was closing the deals for us in the beginning, and we started serving dinner, and the country started blossoming into this culinary awakening that happened in the 90s, and Americans were traveling all over the world, and the chefs were sick of taking this doesn't taste as good as it does in Napa or wherever, or in Nice or Saint Tropez or in Morocco or in Turkey or so forth and so on. Yeah, and so I think we started to figure out how to do the food just as good as and that was just based on your ability to get ingredients that were equivalent to what they were getting, and they were whooping our ass on ingredients because they were sourcing locally, and it was just a better state, and we were still kind of transitioning from this, I get my asparagus from, Vermont, and we're in, fucking Taos, so.
Cisco's one hell of a drug.
Yeah. And not the commodity dealers, we deal in some commodities, man. There is overplay, but is your ability to land the terroir, as you would appreciate, comes from your capacity to get as close to the source as possible. So I'm not trying to be some fucking snob or something, like
Sure.
turn my nose up on those
No,
on that scene that keeps the whole thing going. But whatever.
it's easy to shake your head at someone like Cisco, but the truth is, someone
Yeah,
who's developed a distribution network like that, there's a reason we all know their name. They're
yeah.
essential to most of the food that you eat in America, honestly. If you're enjoying this so far, please take a quick moment, hit that subscribe button. All right, back at it.
Yeah, and you start pulling away their business as a town like Santa Fe, they'll start sourcing local too and get you access. They just want access. They just want access to your back door. So if you say, if I could get organic, they'll get organic. You know what I mean?
They'll figure it out.
That's the funny thing about those cats, is that they'll respond, and if they start losing your door, but they can't get their shit together on lettuces and stuff like that. That's the issue too, and vegetables, they just don't get it. But anyways, it's hard to get out of the beef business with these bastards, and we sell beef in America, that's for sure. So the blossoming started happening, and the country started thinking, and we were in Taos. The pastry chef was a genius, and I was dyslexic chef, so I had this capacity to bring abstractions together, worldly, and so that was a good thing when you started to kind of work it out. For food either tastes good or it doesn't. There's no middle ground, and you can cheat with a lot of bliss point, with a lot of fat, a lot of salt, and a lot of sugar. And that goes a long way, ask Ronald McDonald, But the fact is that from a culinary artist standpoint, they're sour, they're sweet, they're spicy, and all those. And I think from being a dyslexic chef who's now starting to repeat and get feedback from the customers and live and die by the fork and knife, I was starting to realize how things started to come together, and I had a worldview because I was curious, and had traveled a fair amount before this incarnation of my adult life as a kid. I went to boarding schools, and I just never wanted to go home because my mother was a tough cookie, man. And so I would travel all over the place and stay at these kids' houses for vacations, which we got summer times, spring break, and during December. So I had an idea, not a very good one, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in different places. Cookbooks started to becoming a real part of it all. Reading was obviously part. I did get my bachelor's degree because Gina was not only a great pastry chef, she was like a pretty good tutor. So she got me through my last year of college, and we went on this adventure, which ended in Taos. And Santa Fe was the magnet that it is still. And so Food and Wine magazine came to Santa Fe, and a bartender, I think at Geronimo, told him, "Hey, you like this great place and that great place in Santa Cafe, you should go check out this guy." And honestly, probably said the pastries.
Go get the pastries. Yeah.
Yeah, go do the Best New Chefs Awards in 2000, 5 years after we had been doing it up there. I'd been practicing my violin, and so they came and reviewed a few restaurants down here, most notable being Santa Cafe. It's just a hell of a great name, and great chef all the way through, from Ming to David to Dale, and to Rocky to just like humongous Santa, So anyways, but that night I whooped their ass, and they came to the restaurant and ate in the restaurant, and the energy at Joseph's table, not Joseph's Culinary Pub at that time, was electric. And they came in and they couldn't resist, and I won that award, and it's been a blessing and a curse ever since, man.
Sure.
And a responsibility that I've taken too seriously at times, and also trying to figure out what the fuck we were doing, because we weren't exactly doing European fine. We're not doing European fine dining.
Yeah, I'm
It's
glad
not what we're doing, right? We're not. So it's a setup when you come there thinking we're in a European Michelin 2-3 star restaurant. We're doing high energy, intense, fine food, intelligent service, informed wine service, beyond informed wine service. The sophistication of the wine culture in Santa Fe it's impressive, man. It really
for
is.
a state with 2 million people, there's a lot of wine action in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is an I think it's one of those like identifiers for New Mexicans where, you sit down and you open a bottle of wine and you talk, like, and you think and, you socialize and try to figure out what your commonalities are. So, especially in that period in the 90s when you had a segment of the population retiring or second tiering to Santa Fe, which made it a vibrant dining scene. Because if you're retiring, what the fuck you got to do, man? You know what I
You
mean?
can't ski anymore. Go eat.
Yeah,
Yes.
hell yeah, it happens, man. It's happening for me now, but I'm their age, but no retirement in sight. But anyways, so that was all happening, wine, and so the whole scene started to blossom. And I don't know where we are in this whole thing, but I got recognized and divorced just to say, no matter if you are one of the best new chefs in the country, you're still probably not as good as a husband as an orthopedic surgeon.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Gina went on to a different adventure, as I don't blame her, and I just continued to jump down the rabbit hole from Taos and then realized I fell in love with an artist, and we had 2 children, and really started to define as I was saying, like what I realized is I'm not doing European fine dining. It's a different kind of beast. You walk into the restaurant, they're in every, it's common play, and there's a lot of seats close to each other. They're a dynamic, well decored space. They're in a space that wasn't meant to be a restaurant, really, as that was its thought process. The waiters, the sommelier, the cooks, the bussers are totally engaged in the experience. The noise level is a little above acceptable or unacceptable,
Yeah.
somewhere between unacceptable and unacceptable. But the food is absolutely incredible. And that's what I realized I was good at doing. But that has been a long process. And I have shot myself in the foot by just engaging in the rock and roll side of it, which is the high energy, the high output, the high intention, the risky, sometimes failing mindset that leads you. And so Taos started to just become too small of a market for me, really, ultimately. I hate to say
Yeah.
it.
Because how many people even live in Taos? Not many.
About 8,000 people live in Taos, and then you get, kind of like you match that in visitors. So there's probably 16,000 people bedding up there every night. Kind of
But I
like
mean,
Taos. Here we have 80,000 people, and we bed up about 40, 50,000, whatever, in all the hotel rooms and stuff, and
even
B&Bs.
like
Yeah.
even if so tonight when I'm going into the restaurant, I have 180 people on the books. So even
Yeah.
if you got 1% of the population, including the visitors, that's like best case scenario. That's rough numbers to work with, depending on the
Well,
size and the
and
cost of the rent. And
many nights we were doing that, but that was also starting to piss off my fellow restaurateurs and restaurant chefs. So,
Mhm.
it pitted me against people, and that was tough too. It was interesting to kind of be the big young dumbass. There was some European chefs and some of my fellow chefs that even worked for me, that were so capable and good. So we were all pitted against each other. So it made me tough in Taos. I got tough as hell, which is a good thing to be in the restaurant business, unfortunately. Lose some of your sentimentality a bit, which is unfortunate, but anyways, that small market was a great experience, but I think I just unfortunately outgrew it. I want to go back and just ski my days out and live there and hang out, because it's such a wonderful damn place and there's so much happening. But I didn't have any time besides cooking and fighting, really, honestly. But then Taos, 2 kids later, I just decided, man, Santa Fe is where I need to go down. There's a lot of really good restaurants, and I maybe I could slug it out there. Bigger market, more visitors, more locals. I have a few friends. Boom. And so we dropped in, like, kind of like the 7 or 8 original painters came into Taos, like their wagons, wheel fell off. We came into Santa Fe pretty beat up. and from Taos, and the wheel fell off. And we're like, thank God we're in Santa Fe. And we got a house next to Wood Gourmet, thank goodness, and started working at the I got a job as a head chef at the Palace, and
Historic palace, as everyone always says.
historic palace, yeah, which is a good place for on the run to drop into historically. So that didn't ultimately work out, but I started to meet people like Star Bowers, and I had friends in the market like Louis Moscow at 315 and Eric DiStefano at Geronimo, and there was super good talent in the market with different chefs. So I just kind of started to talk to investors and people that were looking for opportunity, because there is kind of an entrepreneurial spirit here. Because you get to a place like Santa Fe, if you're not 100% retired, you got to figure out some way to make a living. And so the investment possibilities are here also in the restaurant. So there's people looking, hey, I got to do something with my money. Can't just walk away from, maybe I don't have 20 million, maybe I have just a few million. So I found an investor ultimately, but I found out something too. I don't play well with a tough guy. So I needed the investor and the investor needed me, but we didn't play well together. And so he wanted to get out and I didn't have any choice. But to stay in, because I am living my dream, honestly. And so he dropped out and I had to buy him out. So I've been forcibly did that, and then the rest, that was 2013, positioning from Taos, and from 2011 to 13 from 3 or 4 different restaurants, people, so forth and so on, eating and greeting, and also wedging my whole own head out of my ass too. You know what I mean? Like the rock and roll coochie coo shit.
Yeah. The party can only go on for so long.
Yeah, you're practicing consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if your glucose levels are crashing and so forth and so on, because you can't handle the juice of the experience, then you're going to have a hard time. You're shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, because you're going to have a hard time practicing consistency. And so in that 2011, 13, 14, 15, I started to really realize, like, how do I really practice consistent? Because that's the best way for my American food to be understood, right? And to be visually understood in a loud, energetic environment, and to be tasted and so forth and so on. You party too hard and your food can get sweet as hell. You got to be careful, man. You're gravitating towards sweet. Can't wait for my next, glass of juice, whatever that. Like, you start to have to really tell yourself the truth on everything that you're doing, especially because you're being bombarded by criticism through by 5 or different sources, your own reservation systems, travel guides, and, your grandmothers and your aunts and your own, like, as I told you, I got a tough cookie, man. I mean, she'll tell you if you. And so how do you practice consistency to truly be a great chef? Not to just have people call you chef, because it's easy to get a chef job. This is the easiest job with a title to get in the country, chef.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hardest job to actually fill that fucking title, and you have to do it by discipline and honesty of the craft that you're producing. And so that started to become like the forefront of like what I was trying to do some of the dishes, tell myself the truth and how to make them good and how to be a good leader, and the people next to me, and we're all cooking and all that too. It's not like it's a cooking experience. So that started to pay off. And then Star came on board, and my partner left, Star came on board, and then she started just letting everybody know the truth about how good our service was and what we were doing and what we were trying to accomplish, and to just kind of, and once you get a good front person, which I had a number of them good, but at a level, my mother calling me, man.
Yes. She wants to talk to you about your lamb.
She wants to talk to me about asparagus.
Oh, God.
I overcooked it or something. Anyways, you start to put your team together. I found a really good pastry chef. He came along right away. Then you remember Juanito?
Oh yeah, I remember Juanito. Is
Yeah,
he still there?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
For the listener, we didn't give any background there. I actually used to work for Chef Joe back in the day. Yes,
yeah,
for a brief time.
yeah,
He,
yeah, yeah. You
you
bartended
employed
for
my
that.
wife too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
all in the
your
family.
wife's got like she could actually have her jersey in our rafters. She is a baller, dude. And I'm not saying we just didn't work that long together, but
No,
man,
yeah,
is
no. It was
really
definitely like
good.
a stopping ground. I was trying to
Yeah,
find myself at that point.
yeah. Well, you were so engrossed in the sommelier thing, and that's so cool, and the mixology and all that. I think that as you've experienced as a professional person really as I am. Santa Fe is a really killer market, man. I
It's
mean,
a
it really there is great restaurants here
yeah.
and real professionals and a really great place to go out to dinner, and it has its own voice. That's for sure. It's
It
not 100% European, but it's not 100% not. It's
no.
cool.
No one understands Christmas when you're ordering chilies outside of Santa Fe or New Mexico. I
Yeah,
miss green chili. I didn't think it'd be possible, and a couple years after, I
yeah.
was like, I do. It did happen.
You know what? I don't understand about green chili in the country we live in.
What's that?
Why can't you get a fucking green chili cheeseburger all over the fucking country, man? Like, we could grow all that green chili for you in Socorro, all the way Hatch and Southern, all the way to El Paso, man. Fuck it. We'll go cook it. We'll make some of the green chili past El Paso. All the way up and down that corridor, and people could have green chili cheeseburgers at McDonald's and Burger Kings everywhere in the fuck country. Green chili is like peanut butter is to jelly.
Yeah.
As a hamburger is. I mean, they are the classic combination. I just do not understand people that don't have green chili with a hamburger. It's absurd. It's like not putting mayonnaise on the bun. It makes no sense. And so, why? Everybody loves chili, man. You miss it. That's the thing. You probably are very happy on some levels, to be living in a vibrant, cool place. And Santa Fe can be a little quiet after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Culinarily, it is
yeah,
spot on though. Yeah.
yeah.
I did not know what I had before me until I left. And then you see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. You know what really surprised me? You going through your history, and it shouldn't, but the idea of you not being good at cooking at one point is one of those things that I hear that I just can't imagine that. I know it's decades ago, but I mean, from trying your food, you've come a long way. Like, how did you? Was it just every day showing up trying something new, or how did you develop that skill?
Well, yeah. I guess it's a little tricky to say that, like, not good at cooking, but it's kind of true. Because what I was getting to just
Well,
briefly,
that's what you
we
said. I
talk
would
about
never have said
consistent
that.
guys.
Or yeah,
No, I did. I do say
yeah,
that, and I say that, in my recorded message about my life when it comes up. But it's true. Like, cooking is consistent. So I had the capacity to make a good dinner and to create a good special, but to be able to do that over the entire evening or the course of the 10,000 meals, not so much. The experiment was still trying to figure out how to burn and to crisp and to caramelize and to cook vegetables and understand internal temperatures and to get techniques when the technique is the best aspect to get to the end result. And so I just didn't. I went to culinary school, the trade school I was talking about, for 6 months, and I worked in restaurants since I was actually 12 as a kid growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio. But yeah, I just didn't know how to cook.
yeah.
There's just techniques involved, and there's timings, and there's understanding of, just like the country was kind of learning its cultural standards of understanding, was learning, and people like Thomas Keller were creating these standards in which you could aspire to be, or, someone as impacting as like David Chang coming and showing how to create a chicharron, how to make those things are starting to happen. So, yeah, good food is good. And when it's not done correctly, it doesn't taste good. If the ingredients are pretty darn good, it's somewhat acceptable. But if it's not sauced properly, or if the sauce is on the skin, or it's overdressed, or it's even underdressed because the dressing, all of those things I was pretty much shooting in the dark, trying to figure out. And so, yeah, I did not know how to cook when I opened my restaurant very well in 1995. Thank God that Gina Papa Lubowitz, I think probably is her full name now, was there and saved the fucking day. And I figured it out. So yeah, I just didn't know how to cook until probably 99, 2000, and when Food and Wine showed up, and I started to get it together. But I was reading and reading and reading and reading and practicing, and yeah, and it took from 95 to, I don't know, to 2000, and maybe I think it took all the way to COVID, when I was like sitting in my backyard trying to drink all the beer and wine left in the restaurant after for 3 months, that I was just like, man, I know how to do this shit. I'm bummed, man. I might not be able to do it anymore. Like, wow, this is, that I really started to get pretty confident. So yeah, it just takes a long time to be confident.
You figured it out. Yeah. I guess kind of put into terms in my line of business, you may have at the beginning been able to put together a good drink, but you wouldn't necessarily have been the guy we picked to put on like a Friday bar shift. You needed to get those skills and techniques, the consistency and the ability to execute again and again. But we go over to your house, we could probably put a pretty good drink together for us, sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that if I came over to your house, you'd leave drunk as hell. You know what I mean?
That's a different story for a different podcast.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. And so many different things, because you're not just cooking you a good meal. You're orchestrating good meals being cooked around you by the garde manger, by the grill man, by your fellow saute person, and you're orchestrating all of those things for consistency, right? And you're trying to stay out of shame, because that's it was a big part of the whole experience of dining in this country. Shame culture, and you did this, and you're not doing it right, and all that kind of shit.
Classic picture of the yelling chef. Yes.
Yeah, and yelling and all of that. So yeah, it's cooking good food has really never been the problem for me, even as a little whippersnapper. But being a chef has been the problem. You know what I mean? And handling that and having the skill sets and developing the techniques to do the actual work that makes it you a chef and not a chiropractor or a masseuse or some other profession, but actually cooking the food and then being the leader of the kitchen and leading and realizing how to orchestrate that so the whole energy is clear energy, clear food, clear energy, and all of that being carried forth to the dining room, to the bar, putting your team together, all of that. The best team I've ever worked with, funny enough, probably would be the team that I have now and have had for the last few years, and the team that I had in Taos when we're faking it until we were making it. You know what I mean?
The beginning, the Rocky cut scene, when we're just figuring it all out. Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's where the beauty of, like, people love to support youth and support activity and support intention. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful, energetic moment, Taos, in 1999, 2000, 2001. It just got more. So yeah, in the moment now, it's cool. Yeah. So just freestyling the transition from being a good cook to being a chef. And a chef there's no ability or necessity to discriminate between table number 1 and table number 130, 40 person. It's just this consistent expression of whatever the song, so to speak, or the recipe, better said, is done in a very concise, clear minded way. it's just taken me a long time to get to that realization and that understanding of what the responsibility is. My ability to create an incredible meal, an incredible evening. I think I've been able to do that since the day I fucking took over in '95. But it's the refining, man.
To do
It's
that
the fucking
2,000 times is a different step. It's a different
yeah,
change in the
yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the refining, and also, man, just not being satisfied, and I probably never will be. It's always trying to kind of. It's that fall from innocence. Like you don't really. There is no such as perfection, but we know there's a fucking great meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh
trying to
no.
always get
Trust
that
me.
great fucking meal every time.
You're preaching to the choir that
Yeah,
like insecure overachiever that just can't stop studying wine because they're interested, want to learn more, want to see if you can get to another level, kind of, again and again and again.
yeah, yeah,
It's yeah, and like
yeah,
yeah, there's no like even I know I tell people that I help go through new levels like you're never going to learn it all because next year it's a new
yeah,
vintage. Like there will never be a done point. It's
yeah, yeah.
you go
That
forever.
And I think that's the kind of the appreciation of the process that also becomes part of it. You just kind of get into the language of it all and keep keep going. I've had people ask me questions like, "What do you think of trend?" And almost like in this kind of like trend sucks. Trend is trendy, is terrible. But it's helpful in the learning process because you learn a new technique or you learn a new idea or someone comes in, it may resonate with your style or not resonate. So you have to kind of discard it because it doesn't work in your timing and how you all work. But it's a way to kind of continue to learn the education,
Yeah.
to keep in the process, learning
And
new vintages, learning new techniques, understanding what the trends and what's happening globally, internationally, in your own city,
for
with
better or
those
worse,
around you.
we are social creatures and we respond to social dynamics, and for some reason we're all crazy about some chocolate from Dubai, and that's what we do
Yeah,
for a minute, and then on
yeah,
to
yeah,
molecular gastronomy, and then on to the next new thing, and on and on and on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, if
Bef-
you think
wait, bef-
about it,
I do want to hit this because I did want to ask you your cuisine. How would you describe your cuisine? Because that's one of the big things that I struggled with. I'm like I know it's American style, but then you have such an emphasis on like local ingredients, but you also do like interesting proteins and like yeah, I just wanted to hear it from you. What your style is.
damn, I wish I could give you a good answer. Yeah, I, it's I don't know if I got a pat answer for you.
Sure.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
like I'm the lion of my zoo. You know what I mean? So it's just, it is what I have to stay at the zoo or close to the zoo. I think to make it a, a destination because the repetition of what I've done has enabled people to know where I am, and it's an easy decision when they decide to go out to dinner. So I traveled through the food because of the idea that I haven't been able to really travel that much since I was, a college kid, before children, and before the restaurant became my vocation, cooking became my vocation. So I traveled now through food, an idea of it. You know what I mean? Sweet and sour. That's an idea. You don't have to literally, open up a jar of sweet and sour sauce. Just on that, what this one is sour flavor, this is sweet flavor, bitter, so forth and so on. And through understanding the world's food, I start to say I can take it and we can do this ingredient here and we can get it and execute it. So my food, I think, in a sense, is it's this American kid's understanding of the world, without by astroplaning and reading and seeing and internet and YouTube and talking and visiting with others and absorbing the visitors that come to Mexico's and understanding its own traditions and traveling through those traditions and through Mexico and on to Spain and through Europe and back through Mexico and down into Latin America. And then obviously California and California cuisine. That's an easy one for people to accept because the breadbasket of California, the wine baskets and all of that stuff. But then that's a jumping point to, Asia and so forth and so on. Yeah, the Korean influence on New York and the media has been cool for me. And yeah, I
Yeah,
just talking and shit. So I don't. Yeah,
a little bit
it's
of
just my
everything.
cuisine. It's my cuisine because
Yeah,
uh,
I'm
yeah,
starting to think it was kind of like me asking, so are you a good son, a good father, a good husband, or a good chef? It's like, well,
yeah,
I've got elements of each of those that inform who I am. It's like a collection of
yeah,
all, and it's
yeah,
that
yeah,
plus a little bit on the side that you don't know about. Like,
yeah,
yeah, what's your
yeah.
deal with duck?
Well,
You
duck
like,
is.
yeah, duck so
Yeah,
much, yeah.
well, it was because I couldn't really travel and I wasn't in a major marketplace and I was trying to make a name for myself. Duck, carrots, like there's ingredients that you can do that with that are comparatively ingredients. So duck is a chef ingredient. It's an understood ingredient from Peking duck to duck confit. Those are two major empires of cuisine. Crispy duck all over the world, that idea at least. So for me, my heroes were working on used duck, and I thought if I could come up with a great duck recipe, then I would be a great chef. So that was it. And then that I was trying to figure out, and also like what is American food. So the French fry, the pommes frites, and then the talons on the frite, the exploration and the realization that was happening, the McDonald's experience and then realizing what kind of protein, if you take everything into consideration, including your own energetic mindset, energy, your own breath, when you make something, then what is on the exterior of that French fry, that pommes frites, that duck fat fry, is that going to affect flavor? So through the exploration of American food, French food, and through trying to learn how to cook, I started just to consider everything. And duck fat seemed to be the best thing to put on the fry as a flavor to build that with the salt and parsley and, the crispiness and texturally. So that became just something that was happening for me as I'm trying to sell food. So kind of with ducks, I was trying to say, "Hey, look at me! I want, I need your
I'm a
attention.
chef, believe me.
I'm a chef. We serve duck. We're legit." And then realizing, like, whoa, actually, there is a reason why it is such a revered ingredient and admired. And, I mean, when you see ducks flying in formation over your house, man, that's so fucking amazing. Ducks they're a symbol of being a chef, like a carrot, funny enough. So,
You
yeah,
know,
that's what.
a lot of people. No, that's a great answer. I was thinking as you said that, look at me, I'm a chef. A lot of people will have a dream, a pipe dream of one day opening their own restaurant, doing what you've done. Do you think that you're constituted a little differently? You didn't really, it seems like, think about it. Drove from Denver straight away, sold the car, go on in, clean up this spot, put my hat out
Yeah,
there. Like you were
yeah.
able to do what a lot of people dream of doing and never talk themselves into or are too afraid to do.
Well,
Just
I think it's a good idea to act young. Jump in. Fuck it. Go for broke.
Yeah. You only
Which,
get one
I mean,
young life. Yeah.
yeah, that helps. That helps a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I grew up in this neighborhood where there was just restaurants everywhere, and I just kind of had an idea that if I couldn't figure out what I was going to do, I was just going to open a restaurant. And yeah, I've definitely I just point and shoot kind of. I have a point and shoot kind of sensibilities.
Aim later.
I'm not a big aimer. You're right, and I've had to refine that
Hmm.
over time. So yeah,
The addition of
yeah,
star probably has helped there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think I just jumped in, and I think if your instincts are telling you to do it, that internal conversation is saying you're going to be a chef, you're going to open a restaurant, you just do it.
Hmm.
And then you fight it out from there and figure it out and succeed and fail as it goes, and hopefully it'll be all successful. That hasn't been the case with me, but so what? Yeah. I'm here now. I'm going to cook dinner just tonight. That's
Sure.
for sure. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
probably do. I would guess I'll probably do. Let me think. Let me just give you a good realistic. I'll probably do 22 steak au poivres. I'll probably do 16, maybe 18 duck breasts. I'll probably do 32, 38 duck pad thais. I'll definitely do at least 18 rabbit lasagnas. Yeah, you know,
Yeah, full
yeah,
house.
it's my life, man.
Yeah. And I mean, that's in the middle of November. It's not even the height of the holiday season for you all. So,
Yeah, we are in a really good moment. Been telling we started reading those reviews. I don't read them anymore, actually, to tell you the truth. But in 2000 and around 18 and 19, when my original partner said, this isn't for me. This restaurant business is for idiots, and I couldn't disagree with him. But he split, and Star and I, started. We partnered up in business and started reading the reviews and just started telling ourselves the fucking truth.
mm,
Like, what are we doing successfully? And so, what are we not doing successfully? And we're not going to play a fool, or a servant. And so we
the
are
guest
going to
is not
serve.
always right, but they are never
Yeah, yeah.
wrong in a different
Yeah,
way.
and we
Yeah.
are, here to serve.
Yeah.
We're serving dinner. That's our job. I
Literally.
serve dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's very important. It's a very important fabric of our communities and our cultures, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I'm so, anyways, taking it all seriously, but not trying to be too serious. And we started just kind of really giving ourselves the business and looking at it, and it's paid off. It's paid off. And the experience has paid off. Sticking with it despite failing has paid off. Yeah, and
You'd be
so here we
surprised what you
are.
can do in what, 2, 3 decades if you keep working at it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, it really is true, and and that is it's just easy to yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah.
done the work, man,
You've done the
and I
work. You're
have to
here.
still do it tonight. And the beautiful thing about our business is you really are only as good as your last cocktail, your last plate of food.
Yeah.
It's that unforgiving, really, and that's what makes it so powerful and wonderful. And that's why I think we're busy right now, because people are responding to that and have responded to that. And when you do something consistently and you stay consistent, when they're thinking about going out to dinner, you're in that consideration, and you have people that are doing jobs in particular areas better than you could particularly do them. You know what I mean? I can really focus my energy on this kind of food, and that's the place that I really feel is the best for me to be, and to have people around me that are able to negotiate through that onslaught of people and get everybody kind of settled in and working. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing, this American fine food that's happening all over the country, man. And
It strikes
anything
me
short of,
too, so much of life is text based these days. People working from home, it's all text to email. And there's a sort of safety there. You can think about what you're saying. You can put it off, answer tomorrow. But when you're dealing with culinary things, this is the steak medium rare. Is the rabbit lasagna warm enough for the guest?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's an
totally, man.
immediacy and a physicality to it that you can't fake. It's there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's there. And, it's probably even there, even more importantly than ever, because I think we need that. Everybody, people need that wonderful ability to have someone clear your plate and fill your water and make a drink with intention that's well balanced. And you drink it because it's a beautiful potion, a spirit. It's not something to jump into and never crawl out again. You know what I mean? It's a spirit. It's a beautiful. It's just a restaurant business is hospitality business is an
It's
awesome, awesome thing.
It's its own thing. We are all deep down infants looking for someone to take care of us, just like we used to be.
There's a chef came to Peter Comes, and she was this Italian chef, and you do demos, like they do a demo every Thursday where a chef comes in and demos a dish and then talks to you a little bit, and you can ask them questions. And she said in her demo and that chefs had an overwhelming need to be. I remember everybody got so insulted that is, but I think there really is this overwhelming need to just nurture, and how do you nurture and 74 people at a time 3 times in 5 hours, whatever. it's a very fine thing. So the beauty of the elixirs and the food and how it all kind of goes in it's just I don't know. It's cool. How old are you, man?
35.
How old are you?
35.
35. So
Yeah.
yeah, 35. Yeah, that's a badass age, man.
I'm starting to feel it,
I
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
I've
no,
got
this is
some
the
time.
moment, bro. You're in a beautiful, beautiful little stretch here. I'm kind of on the other side at 60, or I will be 60, and so I'm just trying to appreciate it, man. It's not going to last forever, and as you said, the physicality, man, it is so physical. I mean, 5 days in a row, man, Mamma mia, man. You know what I mean?
It takes it out of you.
I wake up in the morning and I work out almost immediately. I stretch, I run, I lift weights, yeah, and then I, bathe myself and do my business side of it all and then prepare for battle, man. You know what I mean? Like physical fucking battle. I tell this to my chefs all the time. We're the worst paid athletes in the world, man. But this is athletic.
Sure.
And we're going, man.
I can only imagine how big I would be if I weren't in a job where I was on my feet 40, 50 hours a week. Like, it is nice. Chef Joe, I know we're coming up on time, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, kill it, dude. Thanks for the freestyle conversation. It's fun just to talk.
No, someone listening, where should they go to find out more about you, or where's the restaurant? Where can they go find you?
They should come to Santa Fe, New Mexico, to the Guadalupe district, which is the rail yard district. We're at the corner of Montezuma and Agua Fria, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Yeah, that's where they shouldn't find out anything about me, man. There's nothing to find.
Yeah.
Don't bother. It's ridiculous. But
come try the
seriously,
food. The food is
if you're
out
in
of this
New
world.
Mexico, you're in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And then you're going anywhere else outside of Santa Fe and you're heading to Taos, maybe I can tell you where to go. So yeah, I think that's it. And if you don't stumble on Joe's, there's plenty of other options. There really are. There's a lot of people with skin in the game, man, just like hustling and trying to make a living and doing it and realizing that the New Mexican experience is really shaped by the idea of the hacienda and the gathering of the table and talking about this landscape and all of that happens there. I mean, it's, the place is, it's magic in a very surreal way. I don't know what to say. Not surreal, unsurreal, practical way. I don't know.
No, I think everyone should go there once just to see it, if nothing else, because it is unlike anything I've ever experienced, for sure.
Yeah.
For everyone listening, I will have Joseph's Culinary Pub and the location in the show notes. Chef Joe, it was a real pleasure to talk to you today.
Hey,
honestly.
Man, nice to connect with you. Hey, give Ann a hug.
I will.
And Zeus too, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Give Zeus a bone so he can chew on it or something.
yeah. If you ever come for a visit, I'll give Zeus. I'll give him a ham hock or something, man.
Heck yeah. Thank you again for listening. If you have not, please like, subscribe, and also leave a comment on this show. Every interaction is really, really appreciated. I respond personally to every message, comment I get. Episodes of this show come out every Tuesday, every week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.